Shut up. Go on, brother.
And there go the first series of parachutes, and we're on drones. Two good drone shoots. Next up,
We copy, we see them.
next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics. And keep the same forward. Passing through 10,000 feet. Still on drogues. Main chute deployed. We're at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
And we see 3 good-looking parachutes. Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding Helen Hardy on board.
Yeah.
Time to splash down 1 minute 15 seconds. Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon. Passing through 1,000 feet.
Hello, hello, hello. Like and subscribe, please.
7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. Pages of Jules Verne's modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighborhood. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth. And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
As 2 astronauts have landed safely back on Earth. Time now for a quick look at weather forecast.
Do you know when the stars tonight?
Remind for travel insurance.
You mean all clear travel? All clear travel insurance sponsors Sky News Weather.
Well, an area of low pressure moving in from the Atlantic means a cooler and more changeable weekend is in store. Overnight, wet and windy weather will slowly move eastwards across Britain into Saturday morning. The rain will be heavy at times with some hill snow. Further west, it's a cold start with blustery showers for Ireland and Northern Ireland. Cloud and outbreaks of rain will clear eastwards through the morning to leave a chilly feeling day with sunny spells and scattered blustery showers. It will be windy, especially near western coasts and hills. The showers will be heaviest and most frequent in the north and west, with a risk of hail and thunder as well as some hill snow. Sunday brings another chilly day with sunny spells and scattered showers. Strong winds will feed in frequent showers to northern Scotland, some heavy with a risk of hail and thunder and snow over the mountains. This chilly mix of sunny spells and wet showers will continue into Monday.
All clear travel insurance proudly sponsors Sky News Weather.
Coming up next, a historic 10-day mission. The Artemis 2 crew are back on Earth. And so we would come into the atmosphere at about almost 40 times the speed of sound, and then we will slow down to a 20-mile-an-hour touchdown into the Pacific. But the G profile will actually be very similar to what it is. We'll get up into the 3 Gs, just over 3 Gs on the way down for a normal entry. But if it was a ballistic, we could get up as high as 9, 10 Gs, which is what you pull in a fighter jet. But we could be doing that for several minutes, for 8 or 9 minutes. And so the G profile is going to be pretty sporty. But when we touch down, the heat shield and the parachutes are going to get us nice and slow so that we touch down at what did I say, about a 20-mile-an-hour splashdown in the Pacific. And we can't wait to see the dive team and Navy that are going to come and pick us up. The pilot on Artemis 2, Victor Glover speaking there a little earlier. Well, earlier I spoke to Major General Charles Frank Bolden Jr., a former NASA astronaut and also a former administrator of NASA between 2009 and 2017.
I've been through re-entry in the space shuttle, not at all like this kind of vehicle, with the re-entry heating that they experience plus the G level that I'm certain they experience. The crew is so well trained, and I, remembering my training, there was really no heart-stopping moment for me. Everything that happened that it seems very unusual to the average person watching, like loss of communications for 6 minutes or however long it was, that's expected and you're trained for it. So I was really impressed with how well everything went. It was just a perfect, flawless re-entry.
It really was
From my perspective, okay, let me put it that way.
Well, I think that seemed to be, to the minute, touching down. We have to see the astronauts face now over the next few hours because there's a very specific protocol and procedure that they go through.
Well, the first thing, it seemed like forever for the recovery crew to be cleared into the vehicle, but that was an issue of safety, trying to make sure that the communications was up. Communications problem between the fast boats with the recovery crew and the MRSA and the recovery ship. But once they got that solved, the crew was pretty patient. They were waiting for the hatch to be open, and now they just want to come out, have an opportunity to smell some fresh air, maybe stand up on their feet, and then eventually get back to the MRSA when they're lifted there by helicopter, so that they can probably want some good food. But the doctors are going to get out from first. They had the preliminary medical assessment. We have not heard any reports of there being any problem with any of the crew members, so I'm assuming, which is always bad to assume anything, but I'm going to assume that everybody on the crew is in pretty good shape. Everybody but Jeremy, the Canadian has flown before, so this is really not new to him. But one never knows, because this was a totally different flight to all 4 of them on board.
All eyes were on the heat shield during re-entry.
Exactly.
They were facing temperatures of 2,700 Celsius, half as hot as the surface of the sun. Lots of interest as to how the heat shield would hold up, but it seems to be right.
All we can say is subjectively the heat shield did its, well, not subjectively, the heat shield did its job. The crew and the vehicle came through in flying colors. We won't know about the heat shield, whether or not we completely solved the problem until we're able to get it out of the water and actually back to the Kennedy Space Center, where we'll get a very close look at it. If you remember, when we flew Artemis 1, that was a relatively flawless mission also, and we didn't discover the difficulties with the heat shield until it was back in the vehicle assembly building at the Kennedy Space Center, and we actually had an opportunity to view them up close. So it's too early. It is much too early to assess that the heat shield performed the way it was supposed to perform.
Major General Charles Frank Bolden Jr. speaking to me a little earlier, while the former NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez shared his thoughts with Jillian Joseph on how the splashdown went.
We were all worried about the heat shield because on the first Artemis mission, which was uncrewed, there was some damage on the heat shield that we required some improvements done on it. So we'll be curious to study that heat shield, but apparently it worked well enough
you quite anxious about the experience of Artemis 1 and that heat shield and the fact that there were parts that were broken off from the capsule?
That's correct, and you know, there's always things that occur during the first missions of a new spaceship. Remember when we had the space shuttles, our tiles were falling off. So it's no surprise that things of this nature occur. We have a better understanding of it, we model it better, and then we come up with a improved and enhanced version of that heat shield, and it works like a champ. So we're very, very excited. We hope we don't have to worry about that anymore and can focus on getting humans back on the surface of the moon.
Were you always confident in all of the NASA safety testing preceding this mission?
Yes, I was, because
Of integrity. And it was so great to hear his voice and tell us